Maya Chen stood in front of her bedroom mirror, smoothing down the wrinkles in her navy blue dress. It was the same dress she had worn to her cousin's graduation last year, and probably the same one she would wear to the next family gathering. She didn't see the point in buying something new when this one worked perfectly fine. The fabric was soft cotton, the cut was modest, and, most importantly, it didn't draw attention to herself. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from her sister Emma. "Can't wait to see you. The venue looks amazing. Love you." Maya smiled, feeling a familiar warmth spread through her chest. Emma's wedding day had finally arrived, and despite all the stress and chaos of the past year of planning, Maya couldn't have been happier for her little sister. Emma had found her person in David, a kind-hearted architect who made her laugh until her sides hurt and supported her dreams of opening her own bakery. She grabbed her small clutch purse and checked its contents one more time. Lipstick, tissues, breath mints, and the speech she had written and rewritten at least 15 times. As the maid of honor, she would need to give a toast at the reception, and the thought made her stomach flutter with nervous energy. Maya had never been comfortable being the center of attention, while Emma had always been the outgoing one, the one who lit up every room she entered. Maya preferred to stay in the background. She was the steady one, the reliable one, the one people came to when they needed practical advice or a shoulder to cry on. It suited her just fine. The drive to the wedding venue took her through the winding hills outside of town. Willowbrook Gardens was a beautiful estate with sprawling lawns, ancient oak trees, and a charming Victorian mansion that served as the perfect backdrop for romantic celebrations. Emma had fallen in love with the place the moment she saw it, despite the fact that it stretched their budget to its limits. As Maya pulled into the gravel parking area, she could see other guests arriving. Women in flowing dresses and men in crisp suits made their way toward the mansion, their voices carrying on the warm summer breeze. She recognized some faces from family gatherings and Emma's college friends, but there were many she didn't know, likely David's side of the family and his friends. She made her way to the bridal suite, a beautifully appointed room on the second floor of the mansion where Emma was getting ready. The door was slightly ajar, and Maya could hear laughter and excited chatter spilling out into the hallway. Emma practically launched herself at her sister the moment she walked through the door. Emma looked radiant in her wedding dress, a flowing A-line gown with delicate lace sleeves that their grandmother would have loved. Her dark hair was styled in an elegant updo with small white flowers woven throughout. The room was buzzing with activity. Emma's college roommate Sarah was touching up her own makeup. Their cousin Lily was steaming a bridesmaid dress, and their mother was carefully arranging Emma's veil while simultaneously directing everyone else. "You look beautiful, Em," Maya said, squeezing her sister's hands. "David is going to cry when he sees you." "I hope so." Emma laughed, her eyes sparkling. "I've been emotional all morning. Mom has gone through half a box of tissues just dealing with me." Their mother, Patricia, looked up from the veil with tears threatening to spill over. "My babies," she said softly. "I can't believe my little Emma is getting married." The next hour passed in a whirlwind of final preparations. Maya helped Emma into her dress, made sure everyone's bouquets were perfect, and ran interference when their great-aunt Meredith tried to convince Emma to add more blush to her cheeks. Through it all, Maya felt a deep sense of contentment. This was where she belonged, taking care of the people she loved, making sure everything ran smoothly. As the ceremony time approached, the bridal party made their way downstairs. Maya caught a glimpse of herself in the hallway mirror and was satisfied with her appearance. Her dress might not be the latest fashion, but it was clean and appropriate, and that was what mattered. The outdoor ceremony space was breathtaking. White chairs were arranged in neat rows on either side of a petal-strewn aisle that led to an archway covered in climbing roses and ivy. The late afternoon sun filtered through the oak trees, creating a magical, dappled light that photographers dream about. Maya took her place at the front of the ceremony space with the other bridesmaids. She scanned the crowd of seated guests, smiling at familiar faces and noting how lovely everyone looked. David stood at the altar with his groomsmen, looking nervous but happy in his charcoal gray suit. That was when she noticed him. David's best man stood slightly behind and to the right of the groom. He was tall, probably a few inches over 6 feet, with dark hair that looked like he might have run his fingers through it. His suit was impeccably tailored, clearly expensive, but what caught Maya's attention wasn't his appearance. It was the way he was looking at her. Their eyes met across the ceremony space, and Maya felt an unexpected jolt of recognition, though she was certain they had never met. He smiled at her, a slow, genuine smile that reached his eyes, and she found herself smiling back before she could stop herself. The music began, signaling the start of the processional, and Maya forced herself to look away. She had more important things to focus on than some stranger, no matter how attractive he might be. This was Emma's day. The ceremony was beautiful. Emma and David had written their own vows, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house when David promised to support Emma's dreams, even if it meant eating burned experimental cupcakes for the rest of his life. And Emma vowed to love David's terrible dad jokes even when they made her groan. Maya found herself glancing at the best man several times during the ceremony. Each time, he seemed to be looking at her too, and she wondered if she had something on her dress or if her hair was out of place. She tried to focus on her sister's happiness, on the beauty of the moment, but she kept feeling drawn to those warm brown eyes. When the officiant pronounced Emma and David husband and wife, Maya felt tears spring to her eyes. Her little sister was married. As the happy couple kissed and the guests erupted in applause, Maya caught the best man's eye again. This time, he winked at her, and she felt her cheeks warm. The receiving line after the ceremony gave Maya her first chance to meet David's friends and family. She shook hands and exchanged pleasantries, making sure to remember names and details that Emma would want to know about later. Everyone was kind and welcoming, excited to finally meet Emma's sister. Maya, David called out as she was talking to his grandmother. I want you to meet my best friend from college. This is Alexander Hartwell, but everyone calls him Alex. Alex, this is Emma's sister Maya, the one I've told you so much about. Alex stepped forward with that same warm smile she had noticed during the ceremony. Up close, he was even more striking. His dark hair had hints of gray at the temples that suggested he was probably in his early 30s, and his brown eyes held an intelligence and kindness that immediately put her at ease. It's wonderful to finally meet you, Alex said, extending his hand. David hasn't stopped talking about his brilliant sister-in-law since he and Emma got engaged. He's told me about your work at the nonprofit, and I have to say, I'm impressed. Maya shook his hand, surprised by the genuine warmth in his voice. Thank you, and thank you for being such a good friend to David. Emma tells me you've been incredibly supportive throughout their relationship. David's like a brother to me, Alex replied. When he's happy, I'm happy. And seeing him with Emma, well, it's clear they're perfect for each other. Their conversation was interrupted by the photographer wanting to gather the wedding party for photos, but Alex caught her eye as she was being led away. I hope we'll have a chance to talk more at the reception, he said. The photo session took longer than expected. The photographer was a perfectionist who wanted to capture every possible combination of family members and wedding party arrangements. Maya didn't mind. She enjoyed seeing Emma's joy and watching David's friends joke around between shots. Alex, she noticed, was the kind of person who seemed to make everyone around him feel comfortable. He had an easy way of bringing out genuine smiles and laughter. During one of the group shots, Alex ended up standing next to Maya. I have to ask, he said quietly while the photographer adjusted his camera settings. Where did you get that dress? It's the exact shade of blue my mother wore to my parents' anniversary party last year. Maya looked down at her simple navy dress, suddenly self-conscious. Oh, it's nothing special. I got it at a department store sale last year. I think it's perfect, Alex said seriously. It suits you. Elegant, but understated. Before Maya could respond, the photographer called for their attention, but she felt a warm glow at the unexpected compliment. Most people didn't notice what she wore, and when they did, it was usually to suggest she should dress up more or try something more fashionable. As the sun began to set, the reception moved indoors to the mansion's grand ballroom. The space had been transformed with twinkling lights, flowing fabric, and centerpieces of white roses and greenery. Round tables surrounded a dance floor, and a small band was setting up in one corner. Maya found her seat at the head table, and was surprised to discover that Alex was seated just 2 chairs away. The conversation flowed easily during dinner, with Alex proving to be an excellent storyteller. He regaled the table with amusing tales from his and David's college days, carefully editing out anything too embarrassing for the family audience. So there we were, Alex was saying. David convinced he could impress a girl by showing off on his skateboard, despite the fact that he hadn't been on one since middle school. I tried to warn him, but you know David when he gets an idea in his head. What happened? Asked Sarah, Emma's college roommate. Let's just say the girl was very impressed by his spectacular crash into the campus fountain. Alex grinned, though not in the way he was hoping for. He was fishing pond weed out of his hair for hours. David, overhearing from across the table, laughed and shook his head. You're never going to let me forget that, are you? Never, Alex confirmed cheerfully. It's my duty as your best man to embarrass you at least once during my speech. As the evening progressed, Maya found herself genuinely enjoying Alex's company. He was funny without being crude, intelligent without being pretentious, and he seemed genuinely interested in what she had to say. When she mentioned her work coordinating volunteer programs for a local literacy nonprofit, his eyes lit up with interest. That must be incredibly rewarding, he said. What got you started in that field? Maya found herself telling him about her college volunteer work, how she had discovered a passion for helping adults learn to read, and how she had built her career around connecting people with opportunities to make a difference in their communities. Alex listened intently, asking thoughtful questions and sharing his own experiences with corporate philanthropy initiatives. It sounds like you've found your calling, he said. That's rare and wonderful. What about you? Maya asked. David mentioned you work in business, but he was vague on the details. Alex's expression became slightly guarded. I'm in investment management. It's not as exciting as your work, I'm afraid. Mostly numbers and spreadsheets. Before Maya could ask more questions, the band leader announced that it was time for the best man speech. Alex excused himself and made his way to the microphone, looking completely at ease in front of the crowd of nearly 150 people. His speech was perfect. He told the story of how he and David had met as freshman roommates, how David had called him at 2 a.m. after his first date with Emma to talk about how he had met the woman he was going to marry, and how he had never seen his friend as happy as he was when he was with Emma. David and Emma, Alex concluded, raising his champagne glass. You found something rare and beautiful together. May your love story continue to inspire all of us. Cheers to the happy couple. The crowd erupted in applause, and Maya felt tears prick her eyes again. As Alex made his way back to the table, he caught her eye and smiled. She realized she was staring and quickly looked down at her hands, feeling foolish. When the dancing began, Maya made sure to dance with her father, David's father, and several family friends, fulfilling her social obligations as the maid of honor. She was content to sit and watch during the faster songs, enjoying the sight of Emma and David laughing together on the dance floor. Would you like to dance? Maya looked up to find Alex standing beside her chair, his hand extended. The band was playing a slow song, something romantic and timeless. I should probably help clean up, Maya started to say, but Alex shook his head. The caterers have everything under control, and Emma specifically told me to make sure you had fun tonight instead of working. She was very insistent. Maya allowed him to lead her onto the dance floor, acutely aware of his hand on the small of her back, and the way he smelled like cedar and something clean and masculine. They swayed together to the music, not really dancing so much as moving in gentle circles. You're very close to your sister, Alex observed. She's my best friend, Maya replied. We're only 2 years apart, so we grew up doing everything together. What about you? Any siblings? One sister, but she's quite a bit younger. She's finishing up her master's degree at Stanford. Alex paused. Actually, she's a lot like you. Very caring, very dedicated to helping others. She wants to be a social worker. That's wonderful. The world needs more people who care. It does, Alex agreed, his voice thoughtful. Sometimes I think people like you and my sister are keeping the rest of us honest. The song ended, but they remained on the dance floor for the next one, and the one after that. Maya found herself relaxing in a way she rarely did at social events. Usually, she was hyper-aware of her responsibilities, of making sure everyone else was having a good time. With Alex, she felt like she could just be herself. As the evening wound down, guests began to say their goodbyes. Maya hugged Emma tightly, whispering how beautiful the wedding had been and how proud she was of her little sister. Emma and David would be leaving early the next morning for their honeymoon in Italy, a trip that had been David's graduation gift to Emma when she finished her culinary arts program. "I had such a wonderful time," Maya told David as she hugged him goodbye. "Welcome to the family." "Thank you for making Emma so happy," David replied. "She's been excited about you meeting Alex all week." Maya was puzzled by this comment, but didn't have time to ask what he meant before Alex appeared at her elbow. "Maya, I was wondering if I could walk you to your car," he said. "It's gotten pretty dark out there." They walked slowly across the gravel parking lot, neither seeming eager to end the evening. Maya's car was parked under one of the oak trees, and Alex waited while she found her keys in her clutch. "I had a really lovely time talking with you tonight," Alex said. "I hope this doesn't sound forward, but would you be interested in having dinner sometime? Maybe next weekend?" Maya looked up at him in surprise. She had enjoyed their conversation too, but she hadn't expected him to ask her out. "I'd like that," she heard herself saying. Alex smiled, that same warm, genuine smile she had noticed during the ceremony. "Wonderful. I'll call you tomorrow, if that's all right. David gave me your number." "Of course." Maya felt suddenly shy again. "Thank you for such a nice evening." "Thank you," Alex replied. "Drive safely, Maya." As she drove home through the quiet streets, Maya found herself replaying the evening in her mind. Alex had been charming and funny and kind, but there was something else too, something she couldn't quite put her finger on. The way he had looked at her during the ceremony, the way he had sought her out for conversation, the way he had seemed genuinely interested in her work and her thoughts. She pulled into her apartment complex parking lot and sat in her car for a moment, looking up at the stars visible between the streetlights. It had been a perfect day for Emma, and unexpectedly, it had been a pretty wonderful day for Maya too. Maya woke up the next morning with an unusual sense of anticipation. Sunlight was streaming through her bedroom curtains, and, for the first time in weeks, she had slept deeply without waking up thinking about her endless to-do list. The wedding had been beautiful, but, more than that, something had shifted inside her during those conversations with Alex. She padded to the kitchen and made coffee, settling into her favorite chair by the window with her laptop. Checking her work emails had become such a routine that she did it even on Sundays, but today she found herself distracted. Every few minutes, she would glance at her phone, wondering when Alex might call. The call came around noon, just as Maya was debating whether to tackle the laundry or take a walk in the park. "Hello, Maya. It's Alex Hartwell. From last night." His voice was warm and slightly nervous, which Maya found endearing. "Hi, Alex. How are you feeling today? I imagine you and David had quite a celebration after the reception ended." Alex laughed. "Actually, we were surprisingly well behaved. David wanted to call Emma before she went to bed, so we ended up just talking for a couple of hours. He's really happy, Maya. Emma makes him better than I've ever seen him." "She's happy too," Maya said softly. "I've never seen her glow the way she did yesterday." "About that dinner I mentioned," Alex continued. "I was thinking maybe Saturday night? There's a restaurant downtown called Lucien's that's supposed to be excellent. French cuisine, but not pretentious. Would that interest you?" Maya's eyebrows rose. Lucien's was the kind of place where reservations were booked weeks in advance, the kind of place she had only read about in the food section of the newspaper. "That sounds wonderful," she said. "But are you sure you can get a reservation on such short notice?" "Let me worry about that," Alex replied, and she could hear the smile in his voice. "Shall I pick you up at 7? After she hung up, Maya realized she had absolutely nothing appropriate to wear to a restaurant like Lucien's. Her wardrobe consisted mainly of work clothes and casual weekend wear, with the navy blue dress from the wedding being her one truly nice outfit. Panic began to set in. She called her sister-in-law, Sarah, who had excellent taste, and a closet full of designer clothes they had accumulated during her brief stint working at a fashion magazine. "Maya," Sarah exclaimed when she answered. "How was the wedding? I saw Emma's pictures on social media, and everything looked gorgeous." "It was perfect," Maya said. "Listen, I need your help. I have a date Saturday night at Lucien's, and I have no idea what to wear." There was a pause on the other end of the line. Lucien's? Maya, do you know how expensive that place is? Who is this guy? His name is Alex. He was David's best man. We hit it off at the reception, and he asked me to dinner. And he chose Lucien's for a first date? Sarah whistled. This guy is either really trying to impress you, or he's loaded. Possibly both. Come over right now. We need to find you something amazing to wear. Maya spent the afternoon at Sarah's house, trying on various dresses and combinations. Sarah lived in a trendy downtown loft with her boyfriend Marcus, and her closet was like a department store of beautiful clothes in every style imaginable. This one, Sarah declared, pulling out a midnight blue dress with a subtle shimmer woven into the fabric. It's sophisticated but not flashy, classic but not boring, and it will look amazing with your skin tone. The dress was beautiful, fitted but not tight, with three-quarter sleeves and a hemline that hit just at Maya's knees. When she put it on, she barely recognized herself in Sarah's full-length mirror. Sarah, this is too much, Maya protested. What if I spill something on it? Then, you'll have it dry cleaned, Sarah said firmly. Maya, you look stunning. This dress was made for you. She pulled out a pair of low heels and a delicate necklace. These two. And don't even think about arguing. As Maya was leaving with the borrowed clothes carefully hung in a garment bag, Sarah grabbed her arm. Just be careful, okay? A guy who takes a woman he just met to Lucien's is either wonderfully romantic or he's playing some kind of game. Make sure you figure out which one. The week passed slowly. Maya threw herself into her work, organizing a literacy fair for the following month and meeting with potential volunteer tutors. But, in quiet moments, she found herself thinking about Saturday night and wondering what Alex was really like beneath the charm and the easy smile. She did some casual internet searching, typing his name into Google out of curiosity. Alexander Heartfelt turned up dozens of results, but most seemed to be for other people. She found a few mentions in business publications and what looked like a LinkedIn profile, but nothing that gave her any real insight into who he was. Friday afternoon, Emma called from Rome. Maya, how are you? David told me about your date tomorrow night. I'm so excited. How's the honeymoon? Maya asked, deflecting. Are you having an amazing time? It's incredible, Emma gushed. Rome is even more beautiful than I imagined. We spent yesterday at the Vatican, and today we're going to explore Trastevere. But I want to hear about Alex. David says he's been asking about you all week. He has. Maya felt a flutter of nervousness mixed with anticipation. David thinks Alex is smitten, Emma continued. Apparently, he's never seen Alex so interested in meeting someone again after a first encounter. Maya, Alex is a really good guy. I've met him several times over the past 2 years, and he's always been nothing but kind and genuine. What does he do for work? Maya asked. He was pretty vague about it at the wedding. Emma was quiet for a moment. Did David not tell you? Alex is kind of, well, he's quite successful. He runs an investment firm that his family started. I think David didn't want you to know because he was worried you might feel intimidated or think Alex was showing off. Maya's stomach dropped. What do you mean, quite successful? Maya, honey, Alex is wealthy. Like, really wealthy. His family has money going back generations, and his business has made him even more successful. But he's not flashy about it at all. If David hadn't told me, I never would have guessed. He drives a normal car, wears normal clothes, and he's never once acted like he's better than anyone else. After Maya hung up, she sat on her couch staring at the garment bag containing Sarah's beautiful dress. Suddenly, the choice of Lucien's made sense. For Alex, a dinner at an expensive restaurant probably wasn't a big deal at all. But, for Maya, it represented more money than she spent on food in 2 months. She considered calling and canceling. What did she have in common with a millionaire? Her apartment was smaller than most people's closets. She drove a 10-year-old Honda Civic, and she had to budget carefully to afford new work clothes. They lived in completely different worlds. But, as she sat there, she remembered the way Alex had listened when she talked about her work, the genuine interest in his eyes when she described helping adults learn to read. She remembered his easy laughter and the way he had made everyone around him feel comfortable. If he was putting on an act, he was extraordinarily good at it. Saturday evening arrived with unseasonable coolness for early summer. Maya spent longer than usual getting ready, taking extra care with her makeup and hair. Sarah's dress fit perfectly, and the heels made her legs look longer than she was used to. When she looked at herself in the mirror, she saw someone confident and elegant, someone who belonged at a restaurant like Lucienne's. Alex arrived precisely at 7, looking handsome in a dark suit that was clearly custom-tailored but understated. When Maya opened her apartment door, his face lit up with the same warm smile she remembered from the wedding. "You look absolutely beautiful," he said, and the sincerity in his voice made her believe he meant it. His car was a surprise. Instead of the luxury vehicle she had been expecting after Emma's revelation, Alex drove a well-maintained but modest sedan. As they made their way downtown, he asked about her week and told her about a book he had been reading, a biography of a civil rights leader that she had also read and loved. Lucienne's was every bit as elegant as Maya had expected. The maitre d' greeted Alex by name and led them to a quiet corner table with warm lighting and a view of the restaurant's beautiful courtyard garden. The menu was in French with English translations, and the prices made Maya's eyes widen. "Please, order whatever looks good to you," Alex said, noticing her hesitation. "I asked you here because I wanted to spend time with you somewhere special." Maya chose the salmon, and Alex ordered the duck. They shared a bottle of wine that the sommelier recommended, and the conversation flowed as easily as it had at the wedding. Alex asked thoughtful questions about her work, her family, her interests, and shared stories about his own life that revealed a man who was intelligent, well-traveled, but also surprisingly down-to-earth. "Can I ask you something?" Maya said over dessert, gathering her courage. "Emma mentioned that you're quite successful financially. Is that why you chose such an expensive restaurant? Because you wanted to impress me?" Alex set down his wine glass and looked at her seriously. "I chose Lucienne's because I wanted to take you somewhere beautiful, somewhere that felt special enough to match how I felt about meeting you. The cost honestly didn't occur to me." He paused. "Does it bother you? The money, I mean." Maya considered the question carefully. "I don't know," she said honestly. "We come from very different backgrounds. I worry about whether we'd have anything in common." "We've been talking for 3 hours," Alex pointed out gently. "It seems like we have quite a lot in common." He was right. They had discovered a shared love of hiking. Both were devoted to their families. Both had complicated relationships with their work, and both had strong opinions about books and movies and social justice issues. The conversation had never lagged or felt forced. "Tell me about your work," Maya said. "The real story, not the modest version you gave me at the wedding." Alex smiled ruefully. "My great-grandfather started Heartfelt Investments in 1923. My grandfather expanded it, my father modernized it, and now I run it. We manage investment portfolios for individuals and institutions, and we've been fortunate enough to be very successful." He leaned forward. "But, Maya, the money isn't what defines me. It's just something I inherited, like having brown eyes or being tall. It must be nice not to worry about paying rent," Maya said, trying to keep her tone light. "It is," Alex agreed simply. "And I don't take that privilege for granted. That's why I serve on the boards of several nonprofits, and why I was so interested to hear about your work. I believe that people who have been given advantages have a responsibility to use them well." After dinner, they walked slowly through the downtown streets. The evening was warm and pleasant, and neither seemed eager to end the night. They stopped at a small park where late-night food trucks were serving dessert to couples and groups of friends. "Gelato?" Alex asked, nodding toward an Italian ice cream truck. They sat on a park bench sharing pistachio gelato and watching people walk by. A street musician was playing guitar nearby, and the whole scene felt magical in a way that had nothing to do with expensive restaurants or fancy clothes. "Can I ask you something now?" Alex said. "At the wedding, when I first saw you walking down the aisle, I felt like I recognized you, like I'd been waiting to meet you. Has that ever happened to you?" Maya thought about the moment their eyes met during the ceremony, about the jolt of recognition she had felt too. "Yes," she admitted quietly. "I felt it too." Alex took her hand. "I'd like to see you again, Maya, as often as you'll let me, even though I drive a 10-year-old Honda and live in a studio apartment." "Especially because of that," Alex said seriously. "You've built a life based on your own values and your own work. That's admirable. My bank account might be bigger, but I'm not sure my character is." "Don't sell yourself short," Maya replied. You could have been arrogant or condescending tonight, but you weren't. You could have made me feel small or out of place, but you didn't. You treated me like an equal, and that means something." When Alex walked her to her apartment door, Maya felt nervous about the goodnight moment. She needn't have worried. Alex simply kissed her cheek gently and said he would call her tomorrow. 3 weeks into their relationship, Maya was beginning to understand what it meant to date someone like Alex Hartwell. It wasn't just about the money, though that was certainly a factor she was still learning to navigate. It was about the way other people treated him, the deference and attention that followed him wherever they went. At the small bistro near her apartment, the owner had personally come over to greet Alex and ensure their service was perfect. At the art gallery opening they had attended the previous weekend, people had seemed to gravitate toward him, seeking his attention and approval. Maya found herself both fascinated and slightly overwhelmed by this glimpse into a world she had never experienced. Alex seemed genuinely oblivious to the special treatment, which made her believe even more strongly that his humble demeanor was authentic rather than calculated. They were taking things slowly, which suited Maya perfectly. Alex would call her every evening around 9, after she had finished dinner and settled in for the night. They would talk for an hour or more about their days, their thoughts, their hopes, and dreams. Maya had learned that Alex read voraciously, traveled frequently for both business and pleasure, and had a dry sense of humor that perfectly complemented her own more gentle wit. On a Thursday evening in July, Alex picked her up for what he had mysteriously described as a surprise that I think you'll enjoy. Maya had learned to trust his judgment about their dates, so she simply wore a comfortable summer dress and waited to see what he had planned. The surprise turned out to be tickets to a charity benefit for the city's Literacy Council, the same organization where Maya had volunteered during college. The event was being held at the Botanical Gardens, with cocktails and dinner served among the roses and exotic plants. "How did you know?" Maya asked as they walked through the entrance, where hundreds of people in elegant attire were mingling under string lights and Japanese lanterns. "I may have done some research," Alex admitted with a smile. "When you told me about your volunteer work in college, I looked up the Literacy Council. When I saw they were having their annual fundraiser, I thought you might like to attend. And I thought they might like to meet someone who's dedicated her career to their cause." Maya was touched by the thoughtfulness of the gesture, but as they made their way through the crowd, she began to feel increasingly out of place. The women were wearing designer gowns that probably cost more than Maya's monthly salary, and the men all had the polished look of wealth and influence. She recognized several faces from the society pages of the newspaper, including a federal judge, 2 city council members, and the owner of the city's professional baseball team. Alex, a stunning redhead in a silver gown, approached them with a bright smile. "I didn't expect to see you here tonight. How wonderful." "Hello, Victoria," Alex replied politely. "I'd like you to meet Maya-chan." "Maya, this is Victoria Sterling. We've known each other since we were children." Victoria's smile faltered almost imperceptibly as she took in Maya's simple dress and modest jewelry. "How lovely to meet you, Maya. Are you involved with the Literacy Council?" "I work in nonprofit management," Maya replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "I coordinate volunteer programs for adult literacy." "Oh, how fulfilling that must be," Victoria said in a tone that suggested she found nothing fulfilling about it at all. "Alex, you simply must come say hello to the Pemberton family. They've just returned from their estate in the Hamptons, and Margaret has been asking about you." Before Alex could respond, Victoria had linked her arm through his and was guiding him toward a group of expensively dressed people near the Rose Garden. Maya followed, feeling like an awkward third wheel as Victoria dominated the conversation and made subtle but pointed references to shared memories and mutual friends. The pattern continued throughout the evening. Person after person approached Alex with warm greetings and obvious familiarity, and Maya found herself increasingly relegated to the role of silent observer. The conversations were filled with references to country clubs, charity boards, exotic vacations, and social events that might as well have been taking place on another planet. "Maya, you're very quiet," Alex said during dinner, reaching over to squeeze her hand. "Are you feeling all right?" "I'm fine," Maya replied, though she wasn't sure that was true. "Just listening. Everyone here seems to know you so well." Most of these people have been in my life since I was a child, Alex explained. Our families move in the same circles. But that doesn't mean they know me well. Half of them probably couldn't tell you what I like to read or what I care about beyond business. As if to prove his point, an elderly man in an expensive tuxedo approached their table. Alexander, good to see you, my boy. I was just telling Harrison Whitmore about your latest acquisition. Brilliant move, absolutely brilliant. Your father would be proud. The man, who Alex politely introduced as family friend Charles Blackwood, spent 20 minutes discussing investment strategies and market conditions without once asking about Maya or acknowledging her presence beyond a perfunctory nod when they were introduced. Maya excused herself to use the restroom, needing a moment to collect her thoughts. As she was washing her hands, she overheard two women talking in the lounge area. Did you see Alex Hartwell's date tonight? One was saying. She seems so ordinary. I know, replied the other. I wonder where he met her. She's clearly not from our world. Victoria was telling me she works for some little nonprofit. Can you imagine? Maybe it's just a phase, the first woman said dismissively. You know how men can be. He'll realize soon enough that he needs someone more suitable. Maya stood frozen in the bathroom stall, her cheeks burning with embarrassment and humiliation. She had known intellectually that she and Alex came from different backgrounds, but hearing it discussed so casually by strangers made the gulf between their worlds feel insurmountable. When she returned to the table, Alex immediately noticed her distress. Maya, what's wrong? You look upset. Nothing, she said, forcing a smile. Just tired, I think. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Maya smiled and nodded at appropriate moments, but inside she was replaying every interaction, analyzing every glance and whispered comment. By the time Alex drove her home, she felt emotionally exhausted. Maya, Alex said as he walked her to her apartment door, please tell me what's wrong. You've been distant since dinner, and I know something happened. Maya hesitated, then decided honesty was better than pretense. I overheard some women talking about me in the restroom. They were discussing how ordinary I am and wondering how long it would take you to realize you need someone more suitable. Alex's expression darkened. Who said that? It doesn't matter who, Maya replied. What matters is that they're probably right. Alex, I don't belong in your world. Tonight made that very clear. That's not true, Alex said firmly. Those women don't know you. They don't know your intelligence, your kindness, your dedication to helping others. They're judging you based on superficial things that don't matter. But they do matter, Maya insisted. Not to you, maybe, but to everyone else in your life. I don't know how to navigate charity galas and country club dinners. I don't have the right clothes or the right background or the right connections. Alex was quiet for a long moment. Is that really how you feel? That I care about those things? No, Maya said softly. I don't think you care about them at all. But everyone else does, and that matters too. I saw how Victoria looked at me tonight. How your family friend completely ignored me. How many more events like this are there? How many more times will I have to smile and nod while people discuss my unsuitability behind my back? We don't have to go to events like this, Alex said. We can create our own world, our own social circle. Can we? Maya asked. Really? Because eventually you'll have business obligations, family expectations, social responsibilities. And I'll always be the woman who doesn't quite fit. They stood there in the hallway outside her apartment, both recognizing that they had reached a crucial moment in their relationship. Maya could see the pain in Alex's eyes, and she hated that she was the cause of it, but she couldn't pretend that the evening hadn't affected her deeply. I need some time to think, Maya said finally. About us, about whether this can really work. Alex nodded reluctantly. I understand. But, Maya, please don't let other people's opinions matter more than what we have together. What we have is real and special, and it has nothing to do with money or social status. After Alex left, Maya lay awake for hours staring at the ceiling. She thought about the way he had looked at her during dinner, the concern in his voice when he noticed her distress, the genuine anger he had shown when she told him about the overheard conversation. Every instinct told her that Alex cared about her deeply and sincerely. But she also thought about Victoria's possessive smile, about Charles Blackwood's dismissive attitude, about the women in the restroom who had discussed her like she was a temporary inconvenience. Was this what her life would be like if she continued dating Alex? An endless series of social situations where she felt judged and found wanting? The next day at work, Maya found it difficult to concentrate. Her colleague Jennifer noticed her distraction during their weekly planning meeting. "You look like you didn't sleep," Jennifer observed. "Everything okay?" Maya hesitated, then found herself telling Jennifer about the charity event and the overheard conversation. Jennifer listened without judgment, occasionally nodding in understanding. "It sounds like you're dealing with more than just a difference in income," Jennifer said when Maya finished. "You're dealing with class differences, which are often much harder to bridge. The question is whether Alex is worth fighting for despite all the obstacles." "I think he is," Maya admitted. "But I'm not sure I'm strong enough to handle the constant scrutiny and disapproval." "Have you talked to Alex about this honestly? About your fears and concerns?" "Some of it," Maya said. "But I think I've been trying to downplay how much it bothers me. I didn't want to seem shallow or materialistic." "There's nothing shallow about recognizing social dynamics," Jennifer replied. "If you care about Alex, you owe it to both of you to be completely honest about what you're feeling." That evening, Alex called at his usual time. They made small talk for a few minutes before Maya gathered her courage. "Alex, I want to be completely honest with you about something," she began. "Last night wasn't the first time I felt out of place in your world. Every time we go somewhere expensive or exclusive, I feel like I'm wearing a costume and hoping no one notices I don't belong." Alex was quiet for a moment. "I had no idea you felt that way. You always seem so composed and confident." "I've gotten good at hiding it," Maya said. "But it's exhausting. And last night, hearing those women talk about me like I was some kind of charity case Alex Heartfelt had picked up, it made me realize that this might always be an issue." "Maya, I need you to know something," Alex said seriously. "I've dated women from my social circle before. Women who knew all the right people and had all the right credentials. And every single one of those relationships felt hollow and superficial. They wanted to be with Alexander Hartwell, the investment manager, not Alex the person." He paused, and Maya could hear the emotion in his voice when he continued. "With you, I feel like myself for the first time in years. You challenge me intellectually. You make me want to be better, and you care about things that actually matter. Do you really think I would give that up because some people at a charity event don't understand what I see in you?" Maya felt tears spring to her eyes. "But what if it gets worse? What if your family doesn't approve? What if business associates think I'm inappropriate? What if, then, we'll deal with it together," Alex interrupted. "Maya, I'm falling in love with you. Not with some idealized version of who you might become if you learn to navigate my world perfectly. I'm falling in love with exactly who you are right now." The words hung in the air between them, and Maya felt her heart skip a beat. It was the first time either of them had used the word love, and she realized that despite all her fears and doubts, she was falling in love with him too. "I'm scared, Alex," she whispered. "I'm scared too," he admitted. "I'm scared that I'll do something wrong and lose you. I'm scared that my world will hurt you in ways I don't anticipate. But I think what we have is worth being scared for." Maya wiped away the tears that had begun sliding down her cheeks. "What do we do now?" "We figure it out together," Alex said gently. "And maybe we start by talking to David and Emma. They've navigated some of these same issues, since David's family has money and Emma comes from a more modest background like yours." "Emma never mentioned anything about it," Maya said, surprised. "Maybe she was protecting you," Alex suggested. "Or maybe she found ways to make it work that we haven't thought of yet." For the first time since the charity event, Maya felt a glimmer of hope. If Emma had faced similar challenges and overcome them, maybe there was a path forward. Maybe love really could bridge the gap between their different worlds. 2 months after the charity event that had nearly derailed their relationship, Maya and Alex had settled into a comfortable rhythm. They had taken Alex's suggestion and spent several evenings with David and Emma, who had returned from their honeymoon glowing with happiness and full of stories about Italian gelato and ancient architecture. Those conversations had been illuminating and reassuring. Emma had indeed faced some of the same challenges Maya was experiencing. David's mother had initially been politely, but noticeably cool toward Emma, making subtle comments about her background and education. David's college friends had sometimes made Emma feel excluded from conversations about shared experiences and mutual acquaintances. But Emma had found her footing by focusing on the relationships that mattered and refusing to let others define her worth. The key, Emma had told Maya during one of their late-night sister talks, is remembering that you're not trying to become someone else. You're trying to find your place as yourself. The people who matter will respect that. The people who don't matter can go ahead and judge all they want. It was advice that Maya was still learning to follow, but she was making progress. She had started accompanying Alex to occasional business dinners and social events, but now she prepared differently. Instead of trying to blend in or apologize for her background, she owned who she was. When people asked about her work, she spoke passionately about literacy programs and community outreach. When they seemed dismissive or bored, she simply moved on to someone else. Alex had been true to his word about patience and support. When Maya felt overwhelmed or out of place, he never minimized her feelings or pressured her to just get over it. Instead, he found ways to make social situations more comfortable for her, introducing her to the kindest people in the room and steering conversations toward topics where her intelligence and expertise could shine. Most importantly, they had begun building their own social circle that reflected both of their worlds. They had dinner regularly with David, and Emma had become friends with Maya's colleague Jennifer and her husband, and had connected with other couples who shared their interests in books, hiking, and social causes. These friendships felt natural and unforced in a way that many of Alex's old social connections did not. On a crisp Saturday morning in September, Alex picked Maya up for what had become their weekly hike in the mountains outside the city. It was one of Maya's favorite times with him, when they could escape the complications of their different backgrounds and simply enjoy each other's company in the peaceful beauty of nature. They had chosen a moderately challenging trail that wound through pine forests and meadows filled with late-season wildflowers. The fall air was clear and cool, perfect for hiking, and Maya felt more relaxed than she had all week. "I have something I want to talk to you about," Alex said as they paused at a scenic overlook to catch their breath and admire the view of the valley below. Maya's stomach immediately tensed. In her experience, conversations that began with those words rarely led to good news. "What is it?" "It's good news," Alex said quickly, recognizing her worried expression. "At least, I hope you'll think it's good news." He sat down on a large boulder and patted the space beside him. "My sister Katie is coming to visit next weekend. She's presenting her master's thesis research at a conference here in the city, and she'll be staying for several days." Maya felt a mixture of relief and nervousness. Relief that whatever Alex wanted to discuss wasn't a relationship problem, but nervousness about meeting his family. "I'd love to meet her," Maya said carefully. "But are you sure she'll want to meet me? Are you kidding?" Alex laughed. "She's been pestering me with questions about you for weeks. I think I've told her your entire life story by now, including your favorite books, your hiking preferences, and your opinion on whether pineapple belongs on pizza." "And what did you tell her about that last one?" Maya asked, smiling despite her nerves. "That you're clearly wrong about pineapple being an acceptable pizza topping, but that I love you anyway," Alex replied, pulling her closer. Maya's heart still skipped a little when Alex said he loved her. They had been saying it to each other for several weeks now, but it never failed to make her feel warm and cherished. "What's Katie like?" Maya asked. "She's brilliant, funny, and incredibly passionate about her work in social justice," Alex said. "She's also completely unimpressed by money or status, which is why I think you two will get along perfectly. She's never been interested in the social world I grew up in. She'd rather spend a weekend building houses with Habitat for Humanity than attending a country club event." "She sounds wonderful," Maya said sincerely. "I'm looking forward to meeting her." Alex turned to face her more fully. "There's something else, though. Katie specifically asked if she could stay at my house rather than a hotel. She wants to see how I live, meet my friends, understand this life I've built here. That includes meeting you, obviously, but it also means she'll be around for several days. I want to make sure you're comfortable with that level of scrutiny, I suppose." Maya considered this. Meeting Alex's sister was a big step, the kind of step that suggested their relationship was moving towards something more serious and permanent. The thought was both exciting and terrifying. Will she be evaluating me? Maya asked, trying to figure out if I'm good enough for her big brother. Honestly, probably a little, Alex admitted. But not in the way you're thinking. Katie won't care about your bank account or your pedigree. She'll care about whether you make me happy and whether you're a good person. And since the answer to both of those questions is yes, I'm not worried. Maya wished she shared his confidence. Family approval felt even more important than social acceptance, because family relationships were permanent in a way that other connections weren't. I want to meet her, Maya said finally. But I also want to be honest with you about something. I'm nervous about being judged by your family. Not because I think there's anything wrong with who I am, but because I know how much their opinion matters to you. Alex took her hands in his. Maya, my sister's opinion does matter to me, but not more than my own feelings about you. Katie is important to me, and I hope she likes you because it would make things easier. But even if she didn't, which I can't imagine happening, it wouldn't change how I feel about you. The conversation was interrupted by a group of other hikers approaching the overlook, so they gathered their backpacks and continued down the trail. But Maya found herself thinking about the upcoming meeting with Katie throughout the rest of their hike. That evening, Maya called Emma for moral support. Meeting the sister is huge, Emma said without preamble. This means Alex is serious about you, Maya. Like, really serious. I know, Maya replied, pacing around her small apartment. That's what makes me so nervous. What if she thinks I'm wrong for him? Then, she's an idiot, Emma said firmly. But, from what you've told me about her, she sounds like a smart, caring person who wants her brother to be happy. And Alex is happy with you, isn't he? I think so, Maya said. I hope so. Maya, stop overthinking this, Emma advised. You're going to meet Katie the same way you met Alex, as yourself. You're going to be warm and genuine and intelligent, and she's going to see exactly what Alex sees in you. The week leading up to Katie's visit passed quickly. Maya threw herself into work, organizing a volunteer appreciation dinner and interviewing potential new tutors for their adult literacy program. But, in quiet moments, she found herself rehearsing conversations in her head and worrying about making a good first impression. Alex called her every evening with updates about Katie's travel plans and suggestions for activities they could do together during her visit. His excitement about introducing the two most important women in his life was evident, which both warmed Maya's heart and increased the pressure she felt to live up to his expectations. I thought maybe we could all have dinner Friday night, Alex suggested during one of their conversations. Somewhere casual and comfortable where we can just talk and get to know each other. That sounds perfect, Maya agreed, though she was already mentally cataloging her wardrobe to figure out what would be appropriate for meeting Alex's brilliant, socially conscious sister. Friday arrived with unseasonable warmth, as if summer was making one last appearance before giving way to fall. Maya chose a simple but flattering blouse and dark jeans, wanting to look put together without appearing like she was trying too hard. Alex picked her up at 6, looking slightly nervous himself for the first time since Maya had known him. Katie got in this afternoon, he said as they drove to the restaurant. She's jet-lagged but excited to meet you. I should probably warn you that she's very direct. If she wants to know something, she'll just ask. I can handle direct, Maya said, hoping that was true. The restaurant Alex had chosen was a farm-to-table place with warm lighting and mismatched vintage furniture. It was exactly the kind of place Maya felt comfortable in, and she silently thanked Alex for his thoughtfulness in choosing it. Katie was already seated at a corner table when they arrived, and Maya liked her immediately. She had Alex's warm brown eyes and easy smile, but where Alex was polished and composed, Katie radiated energy and enthusiasm. Her curly hair was pulled back in a messy bun. She wore no makeup, and her clothes looked like she had grabbed them from whatever was handy. Despite her casual appearance, there was an intelligence and intensity about her that was immediately apparent. You must be Maya. Katie stood up and enveloped Maya in a warm hug before Maya could even extend her hand. I've been dying to meet you. Alex talks about you constantly. It's wonderful to meet you too, Maya replied, charmed by Katie's warmth. Alex has told me so much about your work. Congratulations on finishing your thesis. Thanks. It's been a long road, but I'm finally done, Katie said as they all sat down. Alex tells me you work in nonprofit management. What kind of programs do you run? Maya found herself relaxing as she described her work with the Literacy Council. Katie asked intelligent questions and made connections to her own research on social services and community development. Within minutes, they were deep in conversation about effective volunteer management and sustainable funding models for nonprofit organizations. Alex mostly listened, occasionally contributing to the conversation, but seeming content to watch Maya and Katie discover their shared interests. Maya could see the happiness in his eyes as his two favorite people connected, and she felt some of her nervousness dissipate. "Can I ask you something?" Katie said during dessert, turning to Maya with the direct approach Alex had warned her about. "Of course," Maya replied, bracing herself. "What's it like dating my brother? I mean, really like? Because I know he can be a little intense about the people he cares about, and I also know that his circumstances can be complicated for the women he dates." Maya glanced at Alex, who nodded encouragingly. "It's complicated sometimes," Maya said honestly. "We come from very different backgrounds, and navigating that hasn't always been easy. But Alex has been patient and understanding, and we're figuring it out together." "Have people been awful to you?" Katie asked bluntly. "Because I know some of the people in Alex's social circle, and they can be real snobs. Some have been less than welcoming," Maya admitted. "But Alex has been great about supporting me and helping me find my footing." Katie turned to her brother with a mock stern expression. "Please tell me you're not dragging Maya to those horrible charity galas where everyone competes to see who can drop the most names in one conversation." Alex laughed. "We've been to a few events, but we're mostly building our own social circle with people who share our actual interests." "Good," Katie said firmly. "Those people are exhausting. I went to one event with Alex a couple years ago and spent the entire evening listening to some woman explain why her horse was better than everyone else's horse. I thought I was going to die of boredom." Maya found herself laughing at Katie's dramatic retelling of the evening, and she realized that this was exactly what Alex had meant when he said Katie would understand. Here was someone else who found the social expectations of wealth tedious and meaningless. As the evening continued, Maya discovered that Katie was not only intelligent and passionate, but also funny and irreverent. She told stories about her graduate school adventures that had Maya laughing until her sides hurt, and she asked thoughtful questions about Maya's family and background without any of the subtle judgment Maya had learned to expect from some of Alex's acquaintances. When Alex excused himself to use the restroom, Katie leaned across the table toward Maya. "I need to tell you something," she said seriously. "I have never seen my brother as happy as he's been since he met you. Ever. He lights up when he talks about you. And that's not something Alex does easily." Maya felt her cheeks warm. "He makes me happy too." "I can see that," Katie said. "And I can also see that you're good for each other. Alex needs someone who challenges him and keeps him grounded in what actually matters. You do that." "Thank you," Maya said softly. "That means a lot to me. Can I ask you one more direct question?" Katie continued. Maya nodded. "Are you in love with my brother?" Maya didn't hesitate. "Yes, very much." Katie smiled broadly. "Good. Because he's head over heels in love with you. And I was hoping the feeling was mutual." When Alex returned to the table, he immediately noticed the conspiratorial look that had passed between Maya and Katie. "Should I be worried about what you two were discussing while I was gone?" he asked, sitting down. "Just comparing notes about your many flaws," Katie said innocently. "It's a surprisingly long list," Maya added with a straight face. Alex looked back and forth between them, then broke into a grin. "I can see you two are going to be trouble together." As they left the restaurant, Katie linked her arms through both Maya's and Alex's as they walked to the parking area. "This was perfect," she said happily. "Maya, I hope you know you're stuck with us now. Welcome to the family." The casual way Katie said it made Maya's heart skip, but she could see from Alex's expression that he was pleased rather than concerned by his sister's declaration. 6 months later, Maya stood in front of her bathroom mirror on a snowy December morning, getting ready for what Alex had mysteriously described as a special day together. It was exactly 1 year since Emma's wedding, 1 year since that moment when their eyes had first met across the ceremony space and changed everything. The past 6 months had been transformative for their relationship. Katie's visit had marked a turning point, giving Maya the confidence to fully embrace her place in Alex's life without losing herself in the process. They had navigated family dinners with Alex's mother, who had gradually warmed to Maya once she realized that Maya wasn't trying to change Alex or gain access to the family fortune. They had attended business functions where Maya had learned to engage confidently with Alex's colleagues, often surprising them with her insights about social impact and community development. Most importantly, they had continued building their own life together. Alex had become a regular volunteer at Maya's literacy center, using his business skills to help with strategic planning and fundraising. Maya had started attending investment club meetings with Alex, discovering that she had an unexpected aptitude for understanding market trends and social responsibility investing. They had traveled together to Katie's graduate school for her thesis defense, hiked in 3 different national parks, and spent countless quiet evenings reading books and discussing everything from politics to philosophy. But it was the small, everyday moments that had convinced Maya that what they had was real and lasting. The way Alex brought her coffee every morning when he stayed over. The way he listened intently when she told him about difficult days at work. The way he had learned to make her grandmother's dumpling recipe because he knew it comforted her when she was stressed. The way Maya had started keeping Alex's favorite tea in her kitchen and learned to appreciate the classical music he loved. "Where are we going?" Maya asked as they drove through the snowy streets toward the outskirts of town. "You'll see," Alex replied with a mysterious smile. "I promise you'll like it." Maya had learned to trust Alex's surprises over the past year. He had an uncanny ability to plan experiences that were both thoughtful and perfectly suited to her personality. Their 6-month anniversary had been marked with a private tour of the botanical gardens where Emma's reception had been held, followed by dinner at the same small bistro where they had shared their second date. For Maya's birthday, Alex had arranged for them to spend a weekend volunteering at a literacy program in a rural community 2 hours away, an experience that had been deeply meaningful for both of them. The drive took them to Willowbrook Gardens, the same venue where Emma and David's wedding had taken place. Maya looked at Alex in confusion as he pulled into the familiar gravel parking area. "Why are we here?" she asked. "I thought it would be nice to see where we met," Alex said. "I called ahead and asked if we could walk around the grounds. I told them it was a special anniversary for us." The gardens were beautiful in winter, with snow dusting the bare branches of the oak trees and ice crystals covering the rose bushes. They walked slowly along the paths, their breath visible in the cold air, their fingers intertwined in warm gloves. "Do you remember what you were thinking when we first saw each other during the ceremony?" Alex asked as they approached the spot where the outdoor wedding had taken place. "I remember thinking that I felt like I recognized you somehow," Maya replied. "Like I'd been waiting to meet you without knowing it." "I felt the exact same way," Alex said. "I looked at you in that simple navy blue dress, and something just clicked. I knew I had to find a way to talk to you." They stood together in the spot where Emma and David had exchanged vows, surrounded by the quiet beauty of the winter landscape. Maya felt a deep sense of contentment and gratitude for the journey that had brought them to this moment. "Maya," Alex said, his voice suddenly serious. "This past year has been the happiest of my life." "Mine too," Maya replied, squeezing his gloved hand. Alex stopped walking and turned to face her fully. "I know we've talked about the future in general terms, but I want to be more specific about what I'm hoping for." Maya's heart began to beat faster as Alex reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. "Maya-chun," Alex said, dropping to one knee in the snow. "You've made me believe in love in a way I never thought possible. You've challenged me to be better, inspired me to care about things that matter, and shown me what it means to build a life based on shared values rather than shared circumstances." Maya felt tears spring to her eyes as Alex opened the box to reveal a stunning but understated ring, a classic solitaire that was elegant without being ostentatious. "I love your intelligence, your kindness, your dedication to helping others, and the way you make me laugh even on difficult days," Alex continued. "I love the life we've built together, and I want to spend the rest of my life building more with you." Maya was crying openly now, though she was barely aware of the tears freezing on her cheeks in the cold air. "Will you marry me, Maya? Will you take a chance on forever with me?" "Yes," Maya whispered. Then, louder, yes, of course, yes. Alex stood up and slipped the ring onto her finger with shaking hands. Then, pulled her into a kiss that was warm and sweet despite the winter cold surrounding them. I love you so much, Maya said when they broke apart. I can't believe this is happening. Believe it, Alex said, pulling her close. We're engaged, Maya. We're going to build a whole life together. As they walked back toward the mansion to warm up, Maya couldn't stop looking at the ring on her finger. It was beautiful, but more than that, it represented everything she and Alex had worked to build together over the past year. There's more, Alex said as they reached the mansion's front steps. I hope you don't mind, but I asked Emma and David to join us here. They're waiting inside to celebrate with us. Maya laughed through her tears. You planned all of this? I wanted our engagement to happen in the place where we met, surrounded by the people who love us most, Alex explained. Emma helped me coordinate everything. Inside the mansion, Emma and David were waiting with champagne and the biggest smiles Maya had ever seen. Emma immediately burst into tears when she saw the ring, and David clapped Alex on the back with obvious joy. I can't believe you kept this secret from me, Emma exclaimed, hugging Maya tightly. Later that night, as Alex walked Maya to her apartment door, she reflected on how much better the evening had gone than she had dared to hope. Katie is wonderful, Maya told him. I can see why you're so proud of her. She adores you, Alex replied. I could tell from the moment you two started talking about nonprofit work. You impressed her, Maya. She impressed me too, Maya said. And Alex? Thank you for being patient while I figured out how to fit into your life. Tonight helped me realize that maybe I don't have to fit into your old life. Maybe we're building something new together. Alex pulled her close and kissed her softly. That's exactly what we're doing, he said. And I can't wait to see what we build next. As Maya drifted off to sleep that night, she felt more hopeful about her future with Alex than she ever had before. Katie's acceptance had felt like a blessing, a sign that love really could bridge the differences between their worlds. For the first time, Maya allowed herself to imagine a future where she and Alex might build something permanent together, something that honored both of their backgrounds while creating something entirely their own. I'd like that, Maya said. And Alex? I'm falling in love with you too. The relief in Alex's voice was audible. Does this mean you'll give us another chance? It means I'll try, Maya replied. But I need you to be patient with me while I figure out how to be myself in your world. I'll be patient, Alex promised. As patient as you need me to be. After they hung up, Maya felt emotionally drained, but cautiously optimistic. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but for the first time, she felt like they might be able to navigate it together. Love was a powerful force, but it would take more than love to overcome the obstacles they faced. It would take understanding, compromise, and a willingness to fight for what they had built together. Maya looked at her reflection in the bathroom mirror and made a decision. She wouldn't try to become someone else to fit into Alex's world, but she would find a way to be confident and comfortable with exactly who she was, regardless of what anyone else thought. If Alex truly loved her the way he claimed to, then that would have to be enough. Inside her apartment, Maya carefully hung up Sarah's dress and changed into pajamas. She felt like Cinderella after the ball, returning to her normal life, but carrying the magic of the evening with her. The dinner had been wonderful, but more than that, she felt like she had glimpsed the real Alex beneath the wealth and the polished exterior. Her phone buzzed with a text. Thank you for a perfect evening, Maya. Sweet dreams. She smiled and typed back. Thank you for dinner. I had a wonderful time. As she drifted off to sleep, Maya thought about the gelato and the park bench and the way Alex had held her hand while they listened to the street musician. Those moments had felt more real and intimate than all the expensive wine and gourmet food. Maybe their different backgrounds didn't matter as much as she had feared. Maybe what mattered was the way they felt when they were together, the easy conversation, and the growing sense that they understood each other in some fundamental way. Sunday morning brought another phone call from Alex, and then another dinner invitation for the following weekend. This time, he suggested a small bistro near Maya's apartment, somewhere casual and cozy. Maya felt herself beginning to relax into the possibility that this might actually work, that two people from different worlds might be able to build something beautiful together. What she didn't know was that Alex had been thinking about her constantly since the wedding, that he had specifically asked David for her phone number before the reception was even over, and that he was already falling in love with the woman who had worn a simple navy blue dress and captured his heart completely. Inside her small but cozy apartment, Maya carefully hung up her navy blue dress and changed into comfortable pajamas. As she was washing her face, she caught her reflection in the bathroom mirror and smiled. Maybe that simple dress had been exactly the right choice after all. Her phone buzzed with a text from Emma. "Thank you for everything today, Maya. You were perfect. I love you." Maya typed back, "I love you too, Mrs. Patterson. Have an amazing honeymoon." As she settled into bed, Maya thought about Alex's invitation to dinner. It had been a long time since she had been on a date, longer still since she had met someone who made her feel the way she had felt tonight. There had been something special about their connection, something that made her want to know more about him. She drifted off to sleep with a smile on her face, completely unaware that just across town, Alex Hartwell was lying in his own bed, staring at the ceiling and thinking about the woman in the simple navy blue dress who had completely captivated him the moment he saw her walk down that aisle.